Hello my precious students and welcome to a deck profile video. Today we're discussing the deck in which I had a replay over from the last video, what I would call Windwitch Invoked Artifacts, or W.I.A for short. I have actually been quietly enjoying this deck and all the combos and utility it has, plus the versatility of different situations that you may come up against, like the current meta, and even so on and so forth. So I would actually not see this as a meta deck. It's more of a rogue deck, if anything. But let's go ahead and get into what I have for the deck. So starting off, I have 2 Artifact Scythe because, well, those spammy decks, you don't want them to go in their extra deck whatsoever, because once they get in their extra deck, then you kind of may have already lost. And then the 1 Mortal Tech just to get rid of some problematic cards, or just anything that happens if you face up and bothering you. So then 2 Glass Bell for the Windwitch engine. This is your main one of your searchers to get out your turn 1 Crystal Wing. Sometimes you normal summon it, preferably you don't. Next we go into the triple Alistar the Invoker for searching out invocation. Triple Ice Bell, Windwitch Ice Bell. This is like the bread and butter of Windwitches. You always run 3. Always. Without her, it would not work. And because we really don't like it when our opponent does stuff, triple Ash Blossom. Just to prevent them from searching from deck, special summoning from the deck, or sending cards that they need to the graveyard. And then the 1 Snowbell to make our Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon nearly, not completely, but nearly unkillable by card effects. And then double Effect Veiler because she seems to be useful in this format. In future formats, maybe not so much. This is the card probably you would switch over with Ghost Ogre or something else. But right now, because she's light, she has another use for getting to Makaba. So there's that. That's one of the main keys. 2 Spellbook of Knowledge, just for the extra draw. And if you've already done the Windwitch engine and you already have it in hand, you can just sack your Alistar and still go into a fusion summon while plussing off of that some more. 1 Upstart Goblin to make our 40 card deck 39 cards. 1 Terraforming because we need our field spell. Triple Invocation because, well, you want to see this in hand. You may not always be able to search it off of Alistar Invoker. So having 3, you can actually increase the chances of seeing it in hand, so you can still do those fusion summonings off of Alistar and everything else. Then double Spellbook of Secrets to either A, search off knowledge, or use as fodder for knowledge. Triple Called by the Grave because I personally hate hand traps against me. I know that's an oxymoron, but let's go with that. Triple Magical Meltdown because we want to see our Alistar the Invoker even more so, and make sure we can still be able to fusion summon. And then triple Infinite Impermanence because, well, it's a better hand trap than Effect Veiler. But now you're essentially running 5 Effect Veilers, but it can also negate spell and traps if it's already set, so that's bonus. Triple Artifact Scythe because we want to make sure our opponent cannot use their extra deck, so search off for Scythe, special summon it from deck, yada 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 on their turn. And then double Trap Trick because while you're running 6 normal traps anyways, why not run 2 more to search them out, making these 2 that more terrifying. Next, we're going to go into the extra deck. The extra deck, we have Invoked Elysium to basically blow up opponents' boards. Double Makaba because Makaba is actually the main negate card for Invokes, so you want to be able to get this one out as quickly as possible. And then on side that we have Agodius. Agodius is basically something that kind of, even though it's once per turn, says, hey, you're summoning monsters? Nah, let's get rid of them. Even though it's once per turn. And then occasionally it happens, you stop them with Scythe, and they still special summon a bunch of monsters on the field just to be able to give themselves some defensive presence. Invoke Purgatorio turns around and says, oh, you have all this defense. Let's go ahead and make it hurt. So we run one Invoke Purgatorio, thought about running two instead, but one seems fine. Two Invoke Raijin because most of the parts of the main deck is win attributes, and then the fact that if you're already going into the Windwitch engine, this is the second card you can go into if you have the card in hand, which is still very well possible. So we run two of that, and then one Invoked Caliga. Caliga is our last fusion monster, and because we do run some darks in the main, aka Invoker, we have a potential of getting him out, but not necessarily, and you don't always need to get him out. But he is an opportunity, potential option to hurt your opponent, especially if you're going against dark decks. And then we're going into our Synchros. We only run 3 Synchros, and for me that's a little strange considering that I love Synchro summoning so much. But 3 seems to be all you really need, which gives you some options. You got 2 level 7s and 1 level 8. The level 7s are more the options if you can't go to Snowbell or they're trying to stop you from getting into Crystal Wing. So Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon is the main Synchro monster we want to go into. And then we have Clear Ring Fast Dragon as a secondary option in case you cannot stop your opponent from doing extra deck plays. You can at least slow it down with this one. Another good option instead of this one would be Clearing Synchro Dragon, but I opted for Clearing Fast Dragon instead. The other one that you want to go into if you're going into Crystal Wing, and you know you're able to go into it, is Wind Pegasus at Ignister. This card can get rid of spell and trap cards in the back row if it's on turn 2. Turn 1, it's very good as a defensive play as it banishes itself and gets rid of another problematic card on your opponent's side during your opponent's turn if they get rid of your board. And in the links, this one I question quite often. I don't ever really go into it. Every now and then I'll do, but I don't really see a reason to have it in here. But it's in here because I do run artifacts, and that is Artifact Dagda, which allows you to special summon artifacts from your graveyard, and then also like place artifact cards in your spell and trap card zone. Another one that I actually enjoyed using, if I play it right, sometimes I misplay and fudge it up, but I'll be fine. Is Cross Sheep, mainly because you are fusion summoning. It's not so much for the synchro for the extra boost, it's more for the fusion summoning. So if you have a fusion monster on board, you can actually, well, the link pointed to it, or you fusion summon to it, link into it, you can actually special summon anything, either Ice Spell, another Alistar, anything that's up here minus the artifacts, and you can just go on from there. It's super nice. I love it. And then because you really want to go into Makabas quickly, is Secure Gardna and the Alamirage package. You want those in there so you can, if you don't have any light monsters in your hand, or you don't want to get rid of your light monsters that are in your hand, or you don't have your Windwitch package in your hand to do this, you just go Alistar the Invoker, go into Alamirage, and then Secure Gardna, Invocation, you got Makaba. It's a turn 1 Makaba engine, which is super nice. And because, and I'm going to go ahead and go into my side deck. I don't normally go into my side deck, but I'm going to go into my side deck this time around. These are my choice cards. This may be different from you. But what I have currently is 2 Nibiru, because, you know, spam special summoning is still a thing, and until it gets to a point where it's not, which will never be in the time future. Nibiru is actually a really great card to run into. I feel like eventually they're going to limit to 1, but for now we're going to have 2 in our side deck, and then 1 Dino Wrestler Prankatops to get rid of other cards that's on the board. 2 Artifact Lancia. This one is a little tipsy-turvy. It depends on what I'm going up against. If I'm going against a deck that's Banish heavy, this is a card I would want to go to over Scythe or Marltech, and never really want to see in hand. I might just put this down to 1 and have a different card in my side deck, but because of its utility and being able to slow down decks that banish a lot, this is still good. And then 1 more effect, Veiler. 1 Mind Control, just so that I can sell my opponent's cards and use them against them for synchro material, or even make sure I can use them for fusion material myself, or link. Because back row is still a thing, and Problematic and Mystic Mine. Triple Cosmic Cyclone in the side deck. 1 Trap Trick in case I really wanted to be even more evil, which doesn't seem to be a necessity. Could always change it out for something else, such as I can't remember the trap card. Oh, Evenly Matched. Because swapped out for Evenly Matched. And then because some decks don't really rely on the extra deck, but they're all mainly main monster cards or like 1 type, there can be only 1 in the side deck. I personally find it as a really good card. Another option is Summon Limit. It just depends on what you're going up against and what you have issues with. And then lastly, because Red Reboot is still a great card, even though it's limited to 1 Red Reboot, and that is my side deck. Another thing that I'm going to do that I don't normally do is I'm going to go ahead and show some test hands, just to give another demonstration of how the deck works, and to see if I can't help explain some of the combos a little bit better by viewing. The replays can only show so much. So first off, what we have here is Snowbell, Impermanence, Magical Meltdown, Invocation, and Ash Blossom Joy Spring. Clearly, we're not going to be able to go into our Windwitch engine because Snowbell is the 1 card we don't want in our hand. We want it in a deck, and we want Ice Bell. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and activate our Magical Meltdown. No, we do not want to activate our Ash Blossom. And we do want to add an Invoker. So we can add any of the 3 Invokers we want. And even though we have Invocation in hand, we're going to go ahead and normal summon Alistar the Invoker. No Ash Blossom. And then, because we want our Makaba, that's the 1 card that we always want to have in our field. We'll go ahead and link off our Alistar the Invoker for Saladin Great, Almirage, Almirage, and then we'll go into our Secure Darkna. Now that we have a light monster on board and Alistar the Invoker in the graveyard, we'll go ahead and go into activate our Invocation and go into our turn 1 Makaba. Activate Invocation and add Alistar the Invoker. Now we could activate the second Invocation, but there would be really no point. So we're just going to have it in our hand and set the Infinite Permanence. That is a double negate board where we can actually use the Invocation to negate a spell. We have Infinite Impermanence to negate monster effects, and Ash Blossom in our hand to stop them from doing other stuff. So in a sense, that is still a 3 negate scenario, which is actually something that you want. You want to have somewhere in between 3 or 4 negates or disruptions. So we're going to go ahead and do 1 more test hand and show you what else we can do. Okay, so this test hand is actually super nice. I don't like the fact that we have Artifact Scythe in hand, but that's okay. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and activate our Magical Meltdown again to add Alistar the Invoker. Okay? Now we're going to go ahead and go into our Windwitch... No. Oh, fuck. Okay, so I accidentally messed up, and that's on me. So I actually pulled up another test hand instead. And this one has a different hand. Glass Spell, which we don't really want in our hand. We have Knowledge and Meltdown. What we're going to do is go ahead and activate our Knowledge and Tribute the Secrets to get more cards. Why not just go ahead and activate the Terraforming, search on another card, then our deck, activate Magical Meltdown. Yes. And you're probably wondering why I didn't use Glass Bell's effect to search out Ice Bell and then use Knowledge on it. And that's because once you take up a normal summon, you've lost it. And even though it'd be nice to have Clearwing Fast Dragon out, Makaba is still better. So I'm just going to basically pull up Makaba, and Marotech isn't really necessary unless they have card destruction, which 9 times out of 10 you're not going to see that. So we're going to go ahead and activate Invocation to go into Makaba and just pull that up. Now in this scenario we only have a two negate board. We have Makaba and then we have Ash Blossom, which again is not part of the board, so we can't really say that. They see the one negate, they're going to think, okay, we only have to go through one negate, and that's fine, so they're going to bait that out. You also have the Ash Blossom to surprise attack them with, but this board is not as strong. The last hand that I had would have been a much stronger hand. So instead of leaving it at just the 2 test hands, I'm going to do one more just to show more about what the deck can do, and hopefully I don't bollocks this up at this time. Alright, so this one's a little bit trickier. Again, you're just going to have to do some Alistar the Invoker crap, and you don't have the Windwitches. But at least you can make sure you can go into Magical Meltdown and add another Alistar the Invoker to the hand. And start doing the traditional play of getting the turn 1 Makaba, which I wish I can turn around and have a better hand. And you know what? I think after this, I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys, or get a handout and show you guys what I also mean. Because it is possible to have another different desirable board, considering that this is not just the best it can do. So, 1 second. Alright, and so now that I got it to a different hand, here is the Windwitch engine part that I hope I can pull off. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to activate our Upstart Goblin. And no, we did not get the invocations or anything like that. So we'll just go ahead and activate Windwitch Ice Bell, special summon our Windwitches. You always want to make sure Glass Bell is the first chain and then the Ice Bell is the second chain. Because if they have a card that has to target based on last chain, say like Ash Blossom, they can't stop it. The only thing that can stop it is infinite impermanence, and that can something be worked around. And here we go. Now we have our 3 Windwitches. So instead of going Clearwing Fast Dragon, we're going to go ahead and go into Wind Pegasus. And then we go into our Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Now, because we used Snowbell, Crystal Wing cannot be destroyed by our opponent's card effects. That doesn't mean it can't be targeted, but it just means that it can't be destroyed. So we have our main negate, our monster negate, Wind Pegasus at Ignister, which is a disruption in a sense, but not entirely. But once we get rid of, if they get rid of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, we can turn around and get rid of something that's on their board. And then we'll have our set Infinite Permanence, so that's 2 monster negates, and then we have an Ash Blossom. And because we just want to, we can. We're just going to set this Artifact Scythe just as a bluff card. So they're going to want to try to destroy one of these 2 cards, or you don't know what it is. They happen to get Artifact Scythe. They won't be able to go in their extra deck. Anyways, that's it for the deck profile. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, hit like. Please subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh content and hopefully lessons in the future. If you want to be a part of a Yu-Gi-Oh community, if you want to be a part of a Yu-Gi-Oh community that is ideally healthy and willing to grow with each other, don't forget to join the Discord server, and we'll be happy to have you. If you don't follow me on Twitch, go ahead and follow me on Twitch. I do a lot of my dueling there, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!